welcome to the Miami Heat Beat Postgame Show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, full house for the 2006 anniversary championship celebration. We have Saucy Takes, Coach Lou.
What up, what up? No lights will be on. This is the trade dreadline. This team fucking sucks. I'm sorry, guys.
Chat, the praise is pouring in for the Heat. Blow it up. If we don't get Giannis by the deadline, Mickey needs to sell the team. This team doesn't even deserve to piss in the same building as the 2006 team. Praise is pouring in from all over South Florida. We also joining us today, Kay. What's up, my man? How you doing?
Hey, man. Another lovely day in the neighborhood. Watch out for the Hawks. I hear they're shitting all over the place.
Another day in paradise. Welcome back to the show, producer and co-founder Brian Goins.
When did we get our Carl White back?
Me, Myron Gardner.
Who?
Inspired play tonight. We'll get into him later. And welcome back to the program. Guest covers the Atlanta Hawks, David Lee. What's up, Not David Lee, the player. David Lee, the analyst.
What's up, y'all, man? Happy to be here.
How often do you get that?
All the time. All the time.
Do you like it? Do you hate it?
No, David Lee was solid. I mean, I've had people ask if he was my dad. You know, I get comp to Michael Porter Jr. It is what it is, man.
Would be.
I mean, that David Lee looks very different than you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference. Okay, so David, thank you so much for joining us. David works for Hawks Film Room, so check them out at ATL Hawks Film on Twitter.
Sweet.
And David's account is at DLee4, the number 4 spelled out 3. You could check that out. We'll put that all in the bio in the description. So check out David's great work. One of the best doing it, covering Atlanta. He's on our play-in preview. Listen, David, we're doing this dance forever. Heat Hawks, Heat Bulls, the three of us in a merry-go-round of play-in hell. I said yesterday, the play-in runs through Drew Smith. The play-in runs through Biscayne Boulevard. We are the play-in goats. Atlanta, the only team really to kind of give us trouble in the play-in, you know, and here we are at a beautiful February regular season night, and Atlanta absolutely shredded the Heat. And I couldn't think of a better person to have on to talk about this because Atlanta's offense really impressive. They play fast, like the Heat. They got a lot at the rim, and I think kind of what contributed to Miami's defense looking so bad is Atlanta's getting an early offense. Miami can't get their defense set. That Miami's help principles are kind of the backbone of everything that they do. That was not really, you know, solidified with how fast Atlanta was playing. Incredible performance from the Hawks.
Yeah, man. I mean, quite honestly, they didn't really shoot it that well at the rim. Like, they were 52% restricted area from the Hawks, but they got up a ton of threes. And I think the biggest thing too, Miami's a pretty high turnover team in terms of forcing them from their opponents. Like, if I'm correct, I think it's like top 10. But tonight, the Hawks only turned it over on 8% of their possessions, which is super, super low. And I think kind of the Hawks whole offense is about like how much can we get out and run, because they're not as solid in the half court. You know, CJ McCollum has helped a lot. He was really good tonight too. Hit some crazy shots, but when they can force turnovers and limit turnovers, they're going to be really hard to beat. And I think the Miami Heat's inability to force those turnovers is a big reason why this game went the way it did.
Lou, their defense, I was so upset. Like, they had one stint where Jovic came in the game, and we'll get into kind of Ware's performance later defensively. But, you know, they had Jovic come in the game, and I thought he stabilized their defense a bit, which everybody got mad at me on Twitter for pointing that out. That was like the one before that run in the third quarter. They had a run in the second quarter where they strung some defensive possessions together. Jovic was playing well. They kind of used him as a rim protector. It slowed Atlanta down a bit, and even that was short-lived. It was as bad as I've seen them look all year defensively.
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of the things the Hawks did correctly, and a lot of it was like, you can really see how much this team misses Andrew Wiggins. Like, just in, you know, like rightfully so. Yeah, what a crazy thing to say. But no, realistically, like, you can tell like they just didn't have anybody. It just felt like they were constantly getting mismatched with specifically Jalen Johnson. Like, you want to talk about the Hawks making a move for the better? Like, finally handing the keys to this man. I think it's well deserving, and I think he will return the favor. He did the last 2 games. I think he's got 2 triple doubles in the last 2 games. insane stat lines. We just didn't have an answer for him. And it's tough because in a matchup like this, ideally you would like to switch a lot and get Bam out there, but it didn't matter who. Like they were playing so fast that the switches were the rotations weren't keen. They were slipping the screens. The Hawks were ready for it. Just the Heat looked a little bit a step behind the whole game defensively. And a lot of it can be attributed, like, the Hawks obviously made shots. It feels honestly like the Hawks got a perfect team to just kill the Heat because, like, Luke Kennard, coming, CJ McCollum getting there, Corey Kispert, like they got all the Heat killers. Like these people have heard us at their prior destinations, and they just fucking assembled them today. And we saw the outcome. We had no answer for anybody. It felt like I think the only person we had a decent chance of stopping was maybe Nikhil. Like I don't think he was but it was irrelevant. Like it just one guy. We were able to contain one guy. Like it was bad.
It was not a stellar night. Want to give a shout out to some of our donors today. Shout out to D Sizzle 1990 for subbing 13 months on Twitch, saying, hearing we want Giannis chance, get this shit done, Pat. We will have a deadline segment later, as well as a 2006 nostalgia segment. I'm ready to run through a wall for Pat Riley. And of course, our GOAT our MVP of the season, CM 200.1 with the super chat, says, one thing I'll say, awful defense. That's the show sheet. Get me Giannis yesterday. Listen, the man has spoken. Chat's also frying K. They're saying K wearing camo like we can't see him, and saying K a beard away from being on Duck Dynasty.
Yo,
Jesus.
They kill him, my man.
I never survived chat.
That means they love you. Jalen Johnson today, K, nothing that they could do. And I think kind of the interesting thing was Miami's switching more, I would say, the last like 2 months. And today, even with the switching, which you think kind of gives their defense more teeth, they have Mitchell back, which was kind of a huge thing. And I know that as Lou said, they're missing Wiggins. Guys like Jalen Johnson, in the kind of split up offense is getting to mismatches, right? They're attacking smalls on switches, whether it's even Mitchell was picked on at times by bigger guys. And they don't have, and the one thing I've always said is they don't have wings to defend. They don't have like sizable guys at the wing to kind of help make that easier. It's Bam or bust, which is why like putting Nico next to Bam looked pretty good at moments. And I thought Larson had some moments too, but it's like, I think today's pretty indicative of why they need a little more size at the wing. I know a certain guy that can provide that, but in general, their guard and their wing defense is just too small.
I mean, I agree. And you look back into what Lou said, it's they were able to get into their stuff so fast that it almost made the mismatch inevitable. And especially when you brought up exactly what I was going to mention. How many times, did you look at your screen and wonder how is, Johnson continuing to get this matchup on Davion? It's not working. He's giving them the work. But it was like they were into their stuff so fluidly, so quickly, so seamlessly. And of course, it doesn't help when you're in the ultimate rhythm because the other team can't make shots, which has been brought up as well. But they were into their stuff so quickly that they always seem to get the matchup they want. And even when Johnson didn't get the matchup right at the top of the key, right at one of the elbows where he was able to manipulate the floor and create space off one of those screen behind the back assist type things. So as you guys mentioned, for Kennard 3. And even though, Nikhil didn't kill him with his, overall shot making, he made big shots late. And it seemed like him or CJ McCollum was always making a back-breaking shot. And it was because they were just able to get to their stuff so fluidly, so seamlessly, so quick, seemed like they were 2 steps ahead. And I think everything you all have mentioned played right into that.
Yeah, those early mismatches are key, man. And it happens when you get out in transition. And that's why I was kind of, I know that it's been something that you all have gone away from this year, like the double big stuff. But to y'all's point, if it's just Bam on the floor, like if Bam is drawn out to the perimeter, or if he's trying to check Jalen Johnson, there's a backdoor cut or something like there's just no resistance there, particularly with Wiggins off the floor. And I think I'm sure we'll get to Khalil a little bit later on, but that's where you really need him, and that's where I think he would provide his most value against a team like Atlanta, because their big rotation should not have been as effective as they were tonight, quite honestly. KP's out, Onyeka's out. They're running Koloko, Asa Newell, and Mohamed Gay. And
that's when Eric's afraid of playing Ware. And he said that the other night against Chicago, who had all these like, we don't want him to play against fast street. And to be honest with you, I thought today, even as a 5, which should be kind of easier for him, it looked like a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, defensively at least.
Yeah. I mean, just like, as somebody who wasn't proud of the Ware pick, and I've made it very clear and obvious throughout the 2 years he's been here, some of the things have been Spo's fault, particularly this season, his lack of minutes, his lack of rotation. Like, as somebody who still didn't like him, like, you got to give him, if you took a project, you got to understand what comes with taking that said project. There's going to be bumps in the road. I think Spo's been too quick to pull him off the floor in particular situations this year, way too quick. But today, I think I said it on Twitter. I think today Kel'el Ware tanked his value. I was just, it was a troll. But like, realistically, the Hawks put him in so many pick and roll actions, and he is so late to diagnose. He's always stuck in between. Like, it's the same mistakes he was making in college, whether it was Indiana or during his freshman season. He's continuously making these mistakes, and I think teams are getting more and more used to it, and he's still not adjusting. With that being said, the double big lineups, whether I'm not a fan of them, particularly just because I don't think either player is there yet to what they want to be in terms of like Bam being a 4, being able to put the ball on the floor. I don't think that's his biggest strength right now. And I think where the lack of just pace, and they don't really punish teams on the offensive glass with those two, like, it's still a lot to work out, but you should still be throwing it out there, especially like David said, the team, they were down 2 centers. They're not the biggest team, especially like all their 5s are slim. Like I think between Koloko, Asa Newell, and Muhammad Gay, you might be able to get one solid built center combining the 3 of them. Like, that's how skinny they are, and they still don't. Like, this should have been a matchup for Kel'el to eat, and he still didn't. So it's struggling with a lot of things, and this has just been this is a frustrating team, guys.
Brian, I feel like the vibes are at an all-time low with Kel'el. I don't think, and it's funny because he's had games where he's played fewer minutes, but today it just feels like, we're right at the trade deadline. Again, a matchup where, as David said, Atlanta's missing a lot of guys. It should be a matchup for him to eat. All the defensive issues. The fact that even the fans today are like, yeah, I get it. We had Overzealous say, Ware showed us what Spo was talking about tonight. Still play him, though, but, we saw. Brian, I feel like this is rock bottom for the Kel'el agenda.
To be honest, I haven't watched a whole lot of Heat games this year.
You can't say that. You had to fake it.
But the few that I've seen, look, you drafted Kel'el as a first-round pick. He's shown you a lot of high moments. You can't make him the next Jonathan Kuminga, especially if you're trying to trade him.
It's too late for that, bud.
Right before the trade deadline. I understand we're like 2 days away, but like, seriously, this is like the worst time to potentially do this.
Chat's like Brian wishing he left with Alf.
Yeah, totally. To be honest, like, Kel'el, I think he has talent. I disagree with some of the stuff that Lou sees with him. I think he's shown, if he's given an actual like opportunity where he's actually, given consistent minutes, not like this like in and out, not really sure what his role is. I feel like that's the issue. And it's really hard to get into a rhythm if you're not really sure what your availability is going to be like. You're just the opportunity of what you're actually going to get if you're coming off the bench, if you're starting, the amount of minutes you're getting, your coach is talking shit about you on the press. Like, I don't think any of us would really thrive in that kind of situation. So I think the Heat aren't really doing him any favors. Not to say that he doesn't have any responsibility in what's going on too. Obviously, we're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes or in practice, but we've seen at least flashes from him, and to the point where people think that he is worthy enough of being, a centerpiece in a Giannis trade. So if that's the case, fucking play him. You're not even a 500. You're barely a 500 team. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, obviously y'all get more eyes on Kel'el than I do, but there's a particular play. Asa Newell beats him down the floor, and Kel'el just drops his head on the side, like he's trailing. He drops his head when he's like by the Hawks bench, and he like slowly walks back. Next possession ends up being a foul, but he's still 10 to 20 feet behind any other Hawks player. And I am someone who I have made the case that I think that this is probably the end any sort of good that you could have got out of him has probably is gone in this particular situation. And I think that I am still a big proponent of him as a player and a prospect. But I do think that there are some things that you can't be fixed. And if you knew he had motor issues, I understand Miami saying, hey, we are the nastiest, whatever y'all call yourselves. We are this Heat culture team. We can build this out of him. But he's never showed that at any point in his career. So if that was a concern, then you should take him for what he is, which is an extremely talented offensive player that has I think he's extremely talented.
For a center, yeah, he's very he's a premium Clay offensively. Defensively,
he needs
dry.
He's like he can't self-create. I don't think you could be.
You didn't see that drive he had? He had that drive against, and
I see there's a world where
I get your point, G. I get your point. G.
I don't think that's who he'll be.
My whole point is,
if he does that, he's fucking Wembanyama. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
There's some pretty good highlights of him against Wembanyama. Just saying.
Yeah, that's the only time he shows up. It feels like
he really hates French people.
Yeah, he apparently. I don't know what he has.
Well, no, the but stuff he do to Boris Diaw.
Self-creation for a center is so, so few.
There's two ways to do it.
It's so ultimately rare for the position that when you have somebody like that, it's elite. But I think to David's point, Kalel is an elite play finisher. That's his elite offensive trait. And to be a play finisher, you need to have guys who create plays. The Heat had, especially today, very limited guys who can create plays. And throughout the years, they've been very limited in that specific department.
Count.
No, dude, Drew Smith never counts. He should never count. But anyways, it's we're not helping him, but we knew that when we drafted him. That's the thing. It's to David's point. You took this player knowing what he was, and you're trying to change him because you are so conceited in what you are as a franchise that you can't admit your faults. And now instead of admitting your fault, they're just nah, he sucks. They throw all the blame on the kid, and it's at a certain point, they should have seen this shit coming.
They think they can fix a stripper every time.
Yeah,
they think. I mean, Kate. They think I've seen it with Hassan. They start dating the stripper, and it's wild.
This is different than Hassan. This is different than Hassan.
He used to. So? I don't think it. I think it's the same. Brian. That was not that long ago. This is. I mean, Kate. It's
Hassan had major maturity issues. This is different.
And you don't think Kalel has shown that? I disagree.
They're actively bickering through the media. Chat says Kalel's a stripper.
One had
I was going to speak to that, Lou. It's do you think you mentioned deficiencies mentally? Is it mental lapses or is it effort? Because I don't know. I think so.
I think it's both. I think it's effort, but I also think it is mental lapses. Defensively, he tries. He's just lost in pick and roll. This has always been a thing.
I think sometimes
we saw it today.
I think I don't like to say this about guys. I think some of it's IQ. I think with him, he makes the wrong decision because he's looking for the wrong thing defensively. And maybe David, you could speak to this a little bit, but I do feel like sometimes he goes for a block when he shouldn't. He helps on the wrong. He stunts. He either stunts too much or he's out of position. His help is late because he commits too much to defending a guy in a corner or something. And I just feel like his defensive lapses are that. I don't think it's effort. I think sometimes it's effort. I think certainly he lets frustration get the better of him, and you can see it affect his game, especially on offense. But I think some of it's IQ, and I don't like saying that. But
no, I think when you get a guy who's so naturally talented and he has these athletic gifts, right? A lot of times those guys do not become super polished because they've been able to dominate physically the entirety of their career, and I think that could be an element of it. But there's also guys that I feel like their footwork is just better on offense than it is defense. And I called out that one drive against Mohamed Gay. And I think that the intrigue that I have with Kalel is that, not most teams aren't going to be funneling offense to post-ups, but I think he's gifted against mismatches. He was able to elevate over 2 or 3 Hawks and ended up getting the putback, or he went to the free throw line, something like that. And I think that as someone who may potentially have that 3-point gravity, he can put the ball on the floor and attack closeouts to an extent. And I think that's, he seems more coordinated offensively than he is defensively. And I think that is also linked to effort and to what Brian was saying, consistency and role. There are some guys, DeAndre Ayton, for example, who will only play defense if they're eating on offense. And I think that is, if that is a problematic as a center, because that is your most important defender on the floor. You know what I mean? So that is, I can understand the vitriol or the frustration with him because that is the very baseline. The center or the position that matters the most effort-wise is the center. And I think that's what it comes down to. Now, if you're not going to optimize him offensively, then it's a losing proposition and he should be traded. But at the same time, though, I would be really intrigued seeing him with Giannis. So I don't know, but I don't think you can pull that trade off without sending him.
I mean, he has to go. And I think also like it's better for him to go somewhere else. And Kay, I think we've talked about this a lot. We've talked about this a lot. Like, it's weird. The fucking vibes are weird. The way that Eric and Khalil are, it's weird. I've never seen him treat a player like this. He even apologized for something he said. It's weird, bro.
He said recently that he was also going to have to be a better coach for the kids. So that's different too for him to come out and kind of like scold himself.
Oh, even a good coach still. Can we talk about that? Have we had that talk yet? Like, it's supposed to be good.
Stop it.
Are we going there? Come on, man.
We're not doing
I don't think that's crazy to ask, but I do think he's kind of Teflon in a way that most coaches are. Like, when I was criticizing him in my video, Heat fans were calling me all types of stuff and like saying, how could I say I know better than Spo? I'm not saying that. I'm just offering a different perspective. You know, and I do think some guys are coasting on reputation. He's been coaching for so long, but I think he deserves. I think no one gets more out of players than Spo. But at the same time, like, he's only
but like the players he gets the most out of are all these undrafted guys. Why can't he do this with actual talent?
Because you have to fit his mindset.
Then
I mean, I don't agree with you.
Hold on,
how's he going to coach Team USA? Let's talk about that.
Chat says, how would Brian know he hasn't watched Spo coach? That chat's right there. That's why you can't. That's why you can't open the fucking show with I haven't watched much.
And I
Brian
get the
said that to
undrafted guy
protect his-
things as well.
Brian said that to protect his opinion on Khalil in case he said something that was a little inflammatory. He tried to couch it and, just my limited time viewing. I love it.
They had a good start with this offense, and it's been shit since. That's all I know.
Yeah, because people figured it out. It took about 20 games, 15 games.
Because they blew it all up on Amazon Prime.
What is their offense right now? Their offense for the season is 19.
Not good enough.
It's 19.
The team is not good enough.
19,
yeah,
bro.
That's better than I thought. I thought they were going to be bottom third.
No, I thought they'd be a little better. So Miami's
19,
offense
Spo's
today,
putting off a masterclass.
108 offensive rating. That's not very good. Okay, I'm sorry, you got cut off.
Oh no, it's all good. I was just gonna say, like, I don't know if that undrafted thing is a good fact either, because I mean, I hate to go there, but you look at a guy like Jimmy Butler, never reached the heights that he reached until he came to Miami. I mean, certainly you give Spo some credit there. But just to close on Keller before we get too far gone, the play that David mentioned with Asa Newell, like, it's just small stuff like that. Like, bro, you don't challenge every single shot that you should be able to challenge. And I think small things like that tweak Spo. Like, there's things that he absolutely go for. And you can use Nico as an example. Missing shots, I'll go for. Look, I want you to pout less, which is kind of minimized, but it's still there. But one thing about it is you never question if he's trying as hard as on the defensive end, which is all that matters to Spo. And too often for me, I'm looking at Khalil like, yo, why aren't you at least challenging that shot? And he's just looking at it. And I think that's what, bothers a lot of fans in Spo as well.
I think,
and you can see it. We mentioned it. You can see it. He responds when he's scolded. He goes for every rebound more. He's trying to contest every shot more. There's just a difference, and you have to play like that every night if you're gonna play for Spo. My bad. Go ahead, brother.
I think like one of the things with Ware is that I think his biggest talent is rebounding and shooting at his position, and I really value shooting at his position. But I don't really value rebounding very much. And I know that some teams like Houston have kind of made us rethink possession and stuff with offensive rebound, but he's not an elite offensive rebounder. He's a good offensive rebounder. He's not an elite offensive rebound. And I think defensive rebound is one of the most overrated stats in the sport. Did Miami win rebounding today, even though they were embarrassed? They might have. Miami had
by 6.
Yeah, they won the rebounding battle, guys. I don't know. To me, it's like one of the most overrated skills in the game. There's so many more things I value ahead of rebounding. I value offensive rebound, but it's not like he's like this elite, game state changing offensive rebounder. And there's other ways to kind of fix a possession game in your favor. And that's kind of like his problem, where he's a guy that I don't look at that can get unassisted shots. He's a good shooter. right? And this system does give him a lot of open shots, and I think he's benefited off that. And I think he's like a moderate pick and roll dive man. I think he's okay. I mean, we haven't seen him play with a real elite pick and roll handler. I don't think he's as good as Bam at that, even though he has more size. And I think that he's not a good passer out of the pick and roll, which I think is, especially bigs nowadays, I think that's important. You need that option, especially when the short man comes and that help comes, you need to be able to make that pass to the corner. And he just, I don't view him as having that. I don't view him as having a guy that can help buoy an offense other than in kind of a capacity where you shoot. And that said, I think especially an Eric Spoelstra team, when they're at their best, they're a team that likes inverted pick and roll, right? So it's not even like he's getting stuff in pick and pop. Like it's with a wing and a guard and kind of going. That's how Eric Spoelstra teams, the best Eric Spoelstra teams, always operate on offense. So it's my 2 cents on him. I think he's a really good player. And then I don't know if he'll be here past the deadline. I think it'll be interesting. I think obviously in a Giannis trade, that should be somebody Milwaukee wants. Because I think that, he does have talent as David has said. And I admit, there's talent there. I just don't know if it can kind of come to fruition with the Heat, which is kind of a funny thing considering they drafted him.
Not if they're trying to compete, so to speak.
Their priorities are all out of whack, I think. Another guy kind of the opposite of Ware, who I thought was really played kind of inspired tonight, was Myron Gardner, Lou. They've been playing him more lately. Had 14 points, 6 assists tonight, 2 steals. He 2 of 3 from 3, which is pretty big. No turnovers. Somehow a +8 in this game. I like what I see. He's a guy, and I tweeted this. If they get Giannis, he might win the accidentally became important at work award because he will play a lot. And
100%.
I am, dare I say, I'm moved by Myron Gardner.
Yeah, I mean, like realistically, I had no idea who Myron Gardner was up until this summer league. He made the roster. I did the preview. He struck me as somebody who was athletic and played hard, but then you saw like different facets of his game. He's really athletic. He plays really hard. He can shoot the ball. He is a high volume, for what he is. Like he can be a high volume spot up shooter, just straight spot ups, but he has a little bit more flair to his game and he can attack closeouts and things of that nature that I was fully in on him getting a standard contract over Keshad Johnson. They ended up giving him the 2-way. He ends up taking Keshad Johnson's minutes. And we've seen him play over this last month. Like G said, like there's some upside to him as a strict role player. Like, I mean, if Giannis is here, am I thrilled he's probably in the hunt for rotation minutes in the playoffs? Probably not. But that's a big if. That's if Giannis is here. So do I like the kid? Yes, absolutely. Has he earned his minutes? Yes, absolutely. And he adds a bit of an edge and toughness to a team that I felt has lacked it for a fat minute. And talking about that, like we saw the 06 team, there was not a team that had more grit and toughness, and like that team was just like it was a bunch of like guys who were assholes, and we need some more assholes on this team. And it's the nicest way to put it. And Myron Gardner has been an asshole.
He gets into
in
it
the best way possible. Yeah, he does. And
he is only 6'6". I wish he was a little bit bigger. But I think he kind of gives them a little edge.
Yeah.
Which they don't have. Ryan Spravero in chat says Brian low-key thinking he's getting punked with a fake name, Myron Gardner.
You're not fooling me. That's Okara White.
Boulder Ghost said Reed got to chill with the Gardner did it. I actually fucking hate that. Eric Reed is having one of the worst years I've ever seen. But between that and the
another one that needs his job on the line with Spell.
I agree, and I love Eric Reed. Actually, not Eric Reed, but the
hard
fucking
disagree, y'all. What are we doing?
The Bellissimo, I can't stand that. David, Eric Reed. Every time Fontecchio hits a shot, he says in the worst pronunciation ever, Bellissimo, and I was like, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need the Gardner did it.
It's fantastic. We have.
Why you got that man sounding like Quagmire though?
We're so removed from man with a golden arm. Like, you know what I mean? We're the classics are over. The classics are over. Yeah, David, I've been moved by Myron. I was wondering what you thought, kind of seeing him tonight. Probably his best game of the season.
Have you
Probably
ever heard of Myron Gardner before tonight? Be honest.
Yes, he has. He covers the league very well.
I mean, I've heard of him, but I hadn't watched him. And honestly, like, I had to pull up like his college numbers because I mean, there's just not much that he's done in the NBA to this point. And I mean, there's nothing here that says he's an NBA player. But I think to y'all's point, like, even when I watched, because the Hawks have a big hole at the wing, you know, and so I see other teams' wings, and I saw that, you know, Myron's physicality, the driving, the kicking, whatever it may be, like the Hawks, especially, I remember he got like a physical rebound over Reza Shea, and that's such a big area of weakness for us. And so, like, to see someone like Myron who's carving out, you know, a position for himself in the league, it reminds me of just like, I think that wings are like kind of over indexed in terms of like, let's build our team around the wings, but you need these guys, you know, like you need the Myron Gardners, you need, I guess to a greater extent, someone like an Aaron Wiggins or, you know, like you need these not garbage time wings, but guys who are just going to come in and compete and not turn the ball over. I think that's a big thing too. Like the fact that to this point in the NBA, he's rarely, if ever, turned the ball over. That fits with y'all's offensive ethos. And I mean, you're going to have margin, guys on the margins, you know, if you're going to do a big trade like that. And I think we talk a lot about, you know, how the league is becoming more talented, and your 8th, 9th, 10th man does matter in the playoffs because you're going to need that guy to step in at some point, and no one maximizes the margins quite like the Heat. So, you know, if he ends up being that guy who does, if they say, hey, we need more from you, I'm not convinced he could scale up crazy, but I think that at the very least, like the baseline of the effort and the low turnovers and being competitive and like that's still valuable. And I agree that, you know, he might be someone who ends up, you know, having to get his name called.
I mean,
Heat lifer?
Not yet.
Not
K, he, as David said, like I could see him surviving on defense, you know, in big playoff games. Like he's not going to be playing heavy minutes for them, but you know, there's going to be moments where, you know, can you play 8 minutes? Can you play 9 minutes? Are you having a game? Can you play 10 minutes? And
Haywood role almost, yeah.
I view Haywood as much better defensively, and I think Haywood had a more rigid, defined game than Myron, but I think Myron has for sure more off the dribble talent. And Kate, to kind of to Brian's point, why I think the Gardner thing's interesting. I don't know if you guys remember when he played the Knicks in the playoffs in the second round. Haywood had to play because you know Jimmy got hurt and things got really tight minutes wise, and they ran a pick and roll because they were like just not guarding Haywood Highsmith, and then they put him in the pick and roll, and he rolled into space, and literally no Nick guarded him, and he just kind of caught the ball and stood there and didn't know what to do, and it was like a really funny, weird moment. I do not think Myron Gardner is going to have that issue, right? I think Myron Gardner at least has a purpose on offense, knows what he wants to do on offense, and has some ball skill, has some stuff. Is he as good defensively? No, but I think he competes and he's tough. And I think as long as you just don't get absolutely fucking shredded to bits, I think he could survive some important minutes.
I mean, I was about to transition to it when you were mentioning, you know, Eric Reed and his terrible calls this year. But Crowdy actually says this thing about, you know, about the guy. I can't think his name, slipped me right there. I think, Brian, you're doing something to me. Now I want to call him a Carl. Anyway, no, so Myron actually plays with a bit of controlled chaos that you like. And you say words that I like when like making that comparison between him and Haywood, rigid, like not knowing what he wants to do in space. Myron always knows what he wants to do, and that's play with a whole bunch of energy. But I look at him straight line towards the basket without the ball, whether that's hitting the glass, whether that's cutting, whether that's getting in front of his man or trying to get to the driver to cause some chaos on the ball. You notice he was in there, a lot of those mix-ups with the jump ball, stuff like that. I think that's what he's going to be able to survive on defense because he wants to be active and involved. But I think that's actually going to be the thing that allows him to play for this Miami Heat team more often than it doesn't, is because he's going to make something happen offensively, whether he's the guy scoring the shot, whether he's creating an opportunity, or whether he's the hockey pass, you know, getting into the space, doing something crazy to make the kick out to the actual bucket, scoring assist. So everything you mentioned, it's just the energy with him. He never stops going. He always seems like he wants to make a positive play. And anytime you got a guy like that, just going to do it without turning the ball over, it's going to help your team. And he's showing that he can help the Miami Heat in his spots over the last couple of weeks, especially.
I mean, tonight they were trying to win that game in that third quarter, and he was one of the reasons in that third quarter why they got it to 5. They got it to 5, you know, and then the wheels fell off. But I mean, he was a huge. I think did he have 10 in the quarter or something like that? He had a great third quarter, and when they were trying to win a game and they were kind of flowing, and he fed off of that really well. And I thought that was encouraging because at the end of the day, a role player is not going to spark you, especially a role player like him. But certainly he can ride a wave. And once you have a guy that can ride a wave, if the other guys set the tone and you have guys that can fall in line and kind of go with the stars, that's kind of all you need, especially when you have, you know, if you trade for a guy like Giannis.
And he started feeling himself in that period. And I think that's a part of that chaos that we talk about. It's like, and of course, Spo, I mean, I guess he can do it with undrafted guys, of course. I'm joking. He got to know when to reel that in. And when to keep him from, you know, killing himself. But I think that Myron's a perfect example of the kind of guy you want to do that with, because he's not gonna moat. He got too much energy to worry about the last play because he's going to try to call some us on the other end.
I think the confidence that he has, I think you can even see that as somebody who is not watching him night in and night out. And I think that's so invaluable that, I mean, he has no reason to play with the confidence that he does. But he does, and I think that helps him, and that helps the team, and that kind of helps inspire confidence.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's evident, and I don't know. It'll be interesting, man. Like I'm still kind of like in this league. Like, I don't know what the package would be. I know we're gonna get to that at some point, but like, is there enough on the margins outside of, you know, if the package is crazy? Like, is there enough on the margins, or would there have to be additional moves? But it's going to come down to guys like this, man.
And I think that's a great transition to kind of some of the stuff with Giannis. We haven't talked about it too much on the show. We've been mostly doing post games, and we've really kind of, much to my joy, we've stayed pretty focused on games and kind of stay within the context of that. And we haven't really done too much outside of that. But I think obviously the deadline's on Thursday. We will be live for that here on twitch.tv/Miami Heat Beat and live on YouTube.
I'll be here.
Brian will be here, but this Giannis thing's serious. I mean, Brian, they're confident. Ethan Skolnick of 5 Reasons is saying they're confident.
I have not listened to what
Ethan's just confident. Ethan and Leif are confident. There's a lot of.
I don't like it when they're confident.
I don't like it when they're confident either. But boy, they're confident.
They were confident LaMarcus Aldridge coming here. No shade. They were also confident with Dame at one point. So I don't know.
Well, I mean,
why is this different?
They were pretty close with Dame. But I mean, 5 Reasons is reputable, and Ethan feels good about it, and Leif feels good about it. They were approaching Thursday very quickly. Rozier had a ruling today that he's going to get paid. So,
oh really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, a court ruled today that he's going to get his money. Which, if he's going to get paid, I imagine that means he's eligible to be traded.
I can say you can trade him.
This is via
because his money was in escrow tied up, basically. Is what happened.
What a hell of a
concept. From David Perdum of ESPN, he said Terry Rozier's salary, which has been held in escrow since December, will be released after an arbitrator ruled in favor of the embattled Miami Heat guard who is charged in a federal gambling probe, per sources. So I think that, to me, I experienced that news as they could trade that deal. If the Heat are paying him, that contract is movable. If I understand, if in arbitration,
there was a period where they could have gotten more luxury tax relief had they just waived them, because he does technically still count against luxury tax a little bit more because there is partial incentive in his contract currently that should come off at the end of the season. It's tied to late playoff performance and things of that nature. So I doubt it's going to trigger, but needless to say, the Heat had an opportunity to at least guarantee, a certain amount under the luxury tax would have helped them out in terms of, staying under the repeater tax for future tax seasons. Cause you know how that works. You get into the tax a couple of years in a 3-year span or 4-year span, then you got to pay a little bit extra. So There was a period of time where that could have happened. It didn't happen. So I think the reason why, which has been widely suspected, is they want to try to use him as a trade chip and trade deadline. There's definitely multiple packages that they could use. Whatever they want to include Rozier's contract, or they want to keep him for maybe a separate move. I don't know if we want to talk about anything beyond Giannis, but in terms of what they need to trade for Giannis, like he's making $54 million. The Heat just need to basically trade because right now they're below the first apron. They just need to make sure that they trade match up to 110%. Right now, I have different trade packages where they can make it work. You can do Hero. I'm assuming all these are going to include Hero, Simone Fontecchio, Pilar, Jaquez, and Casper is one potential package. Obviously, this is just for Giannis. It's not expecting any players coming back from Golden State, from Milwaukee. But I know there's some ideas where maybe they can include a player like, for instance, Bobby Portis or Giannis's brother Thanasis Antetokounmpo. So those are like different possibilities where Miami could add an extra player like Nikola Jovic, for example. Another package would be Hero, Rozier, and Ware. That's just 3 players for one. It helps Miami still keep sending the players on their current roster, not have to really do much more than really re-sign a guy like Gardner into a standard deal. And then for Milwaukee, you're really just having to waive like one guy on their roster to keep their 15-man roster legal in terms of the NBA rules. I have 2 more. I have Hero, Simone, Ware, and Jovic. So I know Jovic has a weird contract clause where he has like a poison pill. He has a poison pill protection provision on his contract, meaning basically the extension he just signed, it's 3 years that he signed. It's now divided basically between this season, the amount of years left on his contract for his new extension, divide that. And then basically it's like, I think like almost $9 million that's going out. But in terms of what comes back from Miami, it's like 5. So what helps is Milwaukee actually has a lot of space under the first apron to take back a contract like Jovic in this kind of scenario. And then the last one is Hero, Wiggins, Ware, and Casper.
I think also like you can just sub Jovic for Larson, and a lot of that works as well, which is what I think Milwaukee's going to want.
Yeah, and just to add on to those packages, first of all, I fully expect if there is a trade done, I think it's going to be for both the Antetokounmpos. Like, I don't think he's.
I think Bobby Portis is also.
So.
I think Bobby Portis.
I think Bobby Portis would be a really interesting fit here, especially if Ware's not here. If you get the spacing back with him, 100%. I think he works here too. It's obviously the defensive question's still there, but offensively, you don't really miss a beat.
Bro, he fucking sucks. I'm sorry.
Is he leading the league in 3-point percentage?
No,
he's kind of whack.
Yeah, Bobby Portis stinks.
I'm just looking.
He's not the best, but he has 3 years left on his contract.
He has 3 years, and they're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, them moving off of that, as well as Giannis could be a benefit.
Who would you rather have, Bobby Portis or Simone Fontecchio?
Honestly, give me Fontecchio.
Really?
He has 1 year left. Wow. He has 1 year left on his deal.
Ryan, you're the cap guy. You want to pay that guy $14 million for the next 3 years? Get out of here! Come on. What are we doing?
If I get Giannis,
Bellissimo. I mean,
the only attractive thing about Portis is the fact that is a $13 million contract that you can move, and because Miami's going to have more picks to trade in the summer, they can send him and a pick and get an upgrade or something.
Yeah.
Chat's saying Bobby Portis is a Dwayne Dedman reincarnated.
Jesus, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's
Dwayne Dedman was at least 7 feet. No,
what's he doing nowadays?
Who knows? The
Working
mechanic somewhere? Yeah, mechanic somewhere.
Too easy.
I was gonna say though, I fully expect my mindset going into this is if you want to compete with the other offers that are out there, and by the other offers, I'm just talking about Golden State here. Minnesota, you're not getting there's no. I
think the Golden State isn't as strong as what people are making it out to be.
My whole point is getting 4 unprotected picks is better than getting 2.
Not 4 unprotected, it's 3. 3 and one's a partial is 1 to 20.
So
conditional pick.
Maybe a little better. But regardless, if in my opinion, if you're competing with that and you're the team that's desperate, let's be honest. Pat Riley sees a whale and it's like he's watching, back to the reference, a stripper. I don't know. Scratch that. But Pat Riley's
Giannis is not a stripper. Giannis is a dignified lady.
No, but realistically, when Pat Riley sees a player of this kind of stature, like just this level of elite, he always goes all in. That's what we've known. So I'm fully expecting, obviously, like you said, Tyler and Kalel are 100% on the deal. And I think aside from that, I think Milwaukee would be stupid not to ask for every single young guy aside from them. I'm talking Jaime, Pella, Kaz. Shit, if they like Nico, they'll probably ask for him too. And my only reason for saying so is Milwaukee does not own any of their picks for the following years. There is no benefit to them tanking because they own basically the worst of a bunch of team
swaps with Atlanta. And
so to me,
New
it just does not make any sense from their perspective.
This is the only year they can really tank.
No,
not even. They have it's the worst
of three picks.
It's the worst.
I thought the worst was the opposite.
Sorry. I think the Hawks get the best of that pick, and then the Bucks get the worst of the Pels in their own pick.
Yes. I always get that mixed up because when they say the worst, I think the worst as in like the lowest, but no, the worst is usually it's the opposite, right?
What?
Mm-hmm.
I hate how they word that.
Who? Somebody fire the people on Tradespo. Or what is it?
Fanspo?
Fanspo? Yeah. What?
So which
no, but it really is confusing the way they word some of that stuff with the pick swaps.
So they can still get a top 7 pick. I don't think that's. I mean, with the way the West is looking, I mean, the Jazz is going to tank. Memphis is going to tank now. There's a good chance.
Utah just made a win now move.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to sit.
What's looking likely is that the Pelicans are going to get first this year.
Oh no, they probably won't. But I mean, the Pelicans just by virtue of not being as bad as Utah and Memphis, because I think both those teams will just they'll crash the ship into an iceberg. Then I think it's. I don't know. I look at Milwaukee and I think Lou's point makes sense, right? Like they're gonna want as many swings as possible. And isn't Hero from Milwaukee as well, or Wisconsin at least?
Yeah, dude, he just needs to go. He can go anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
So I have a question because I feel like everybody's assuming it's Hero in this deal, and I think that could be likely. But what's to say that Milwaukee wouldn't want back Norman Powell maybe because they feel like they could trade in for something better.
They don't want to pay him.
Not that they don't want to pay him. They could easily flip and still by the deadline.
But my whole thing is Milwaukee is trading the best player in this deal, right? I think if I'm Milwaukee, I want to do zero work. You figure everything out and you tell me what the package is. I don't want to take back
too if you trade for him. Yeah, so I feel like that's another potential.
I think they would just rather take a swing on Tyler than already know what they're getting. Shit. Maybe Brian, to your point, maybe they ask for both, for Tyler and Norman Powell, because they will have even more leverage. They're like, you keep Rozier and deal with that. We want these two guys.
Be a lot of contracts going back to Miami in that case, but yeah, that could work.
But I mean, isn't Rozier and Rozier and Powell making I think about $1 million difference?
About 5.
About 5.5. So he's making 6 less.
I'll do the math right now. Let me see.
So it's
Spotrack's crashing. I can't check.
But it's 6.2 less. I just saw. I mean, if you don't count the
you could do Powell, Hero, Ware, and Casper. I think you can take out Casper if you really wanted to.
David, my question is that an attractive enough offer, or do you think if you're Milwaukee, like would you just rather hold on to him and wait until the summer, even if it's going to cost him money?
Yes.
I'm like, because I feel like Milwaukee will want to do best by their franchise GOAT. You know what I mean? All things being considered. And so I think Giannis, he has such a weird approach to the team. He's like, oh no, I'm not requesting a trade. Like, it's cool, bro. Like your reputation isn't going to be tarnished by this, right? Like, I think at this point, it is what it is. Clearly, Milwaukee has failed to build around you. I mean, what they've done in the draft is despicable. And I cannot believe John Horst has continued to do the same thing year after year after year. Like, even the AJ Johnson trade was like, that whole thing was enough. But when I look at the league, right, like, I mean, Giannis wants to contend, of course. He's only getting older. I would imagine Minnesota's the most attractive, but there's that whole thing where I thought he was saying his family has all moved to Greece now, and his wife's over there. I don't know. There's too many dynamics, but I think from a package perspective, I wouldn't want Hero. And that's he's got 3 years on the deal, or 2 years 2 years on the deal. He's $30 million. I guess you could maybe sell the fan base on hey, hometown kid comes home. But I think the real and again, this is my fandom for Ware talking, but I think Ware from a franchise that's trying to build from the ground up essentially. And again, 100%. Your points about the picks, I think it has to come back to the young guys. And I think taking on Norman and Hero salary is a lot. And I don't think they'll be looking for, even a salary dump unless Miami's going to have to attach even more picks. So Yeah, man. I am curious though. Like, what's the plan if Giannis does come though? Like where does a Giannis acquisition
That's a good question.
borrow the packages you all throw out? Like, where does that place the Heat in the
Like
East?
obviously Miami would need
Keep that
shooting
up.
at that point, and I don't know
Yeah.
what kind of cheap shooting really is out there unless you can somehow convince the league to let you sign Malik Beasley.
I've seen a lot of constructions of the trade where they keep Fontecchio and
I don't think they'll ask for Fontecchio. Realistically,
Yeah,
I think for that salary, if I'm them, I'd just rather have two young guys. Like it's $8 million. I'd rather just like give me Pella and give me Kaz.
You can swap Fontecchio honestly for almost Jovic and it works still.
Jovic is not going. Miami doesn't have the leverage. It's going to be Larson. It's going to be Jaquez. It's going to be every guy that's good, that's young. It's going to be Ware. It's going to be
under 25.
It's going to be
doesn't have a bad contract.
It's going to be all those guys. We're going to get stuck with Jovic, Myron Gardner, and Fontecchio. And before the Fontecchio contract used to be important to the deal if you couldn't move Rozier because you had to get to the money. But now that you can move Hero and Rozier, you can get to the money and take back Portis, which is important. And you can keep Wiggins. I think keeping Wiggins is pretty important. Now, Miami may need to trade Wiggins to get a pick to reroute, or they may need a third team, which a third team certainly makes things easier, yada, yada, yada. But if I'm Miami, I mean, you got to keep something. Wiggins has been playing well, shooting the ball well. And I think, David, it'd be a nasty defensive foursome with Wiggins, Bam, Giannis, and Davion Mitchell. I mean, we're in some conversations, and then whatever, Powell's there. Survive there, buddy. But I mean, you're in some real holy shit. These guys, we're in some rock fights.
What's the preferred package for you all then? Like what like I know you mentioned Wiggins and potentially.
I want to keep Larson. I think for me, I'll drive Jaquez and Ware and all these guys to the airport.
Yeah, I want to keep Jaquez instead.
I don't know. I think that if you keep Pell Larson,
and I'm in the middle. As long as we can keep one of them, I think we'd rather keep Pell because he's
I agree with
the blue guy. But if you can keep one of them, I think you win.
I think you have a better chance of keeping Larson just because I think Jaquez has more on ball juice. And I think for a team like Milwaukee, who's going to be like clearly blowing it up, I think you need on ball juice, right? And I think Jaquez would be their best ball handler if he walks in right now, like to their team. Probably
Ryan Rollins. I'd say Ryan Rollins is better, but
he would be the best ball handler going to the rim. The best attacker with the ball, certainly.
That's fair. I think Milwaukee, all things considered, I really think Milwaukee's best interest is to wait until the offseason.
I think so.
A lot of teams are going to unlock picks. You're going to be able to.
Miami unlocks more picks.
Yeah, y'all are going to unlock picks. So I think that's where it's going. But I don't know, man.
I would be shocked if
you said it, and I said it before, David. That's the most important player, if not more important than the Kareem Abdul of the Jabbar. So if you keep him from getting that extra cheese, like that, that's the thing. That's the thing. Who's ever going to trust Milwaukee? And Bond mentioned that.
I agree. And just to get back really quick on David's original question, which was how far does Giannis take you with, like, let's say you're able to keep just a Pell, but everything else goes. Jaquez goes, Ware goes, Tyler, he can go. I'll buy his flight personally, first class, whatever he needs. And Kasparis goes, and all the picks, like realistically, what are we in my opinion, I think if your rotation is basically like the starting five, G said, Davion, Norman, Wiggins, Giannis, and Bam. And then off the bench, you have some combination of Drew, Pell, maybe Bobby Portis, Fontecchio, and Myron Gardner. Yeah. Plus, you hope, you'd hope to bring somebody in
the buyout market.
Yeah, in the buyout, whether that's Mike Conley or whoever else gets bought out. Realistically, I think they should be. I'll try to be humble. They should be in the second round. Realistically, I think they'll probably make Eastern Conference Finals. They might make the finals.
They'd be the second best team in the conference at minimum.
I think they'll be top 3 is my point. I don't think they'll be good enough to beat a West Coast team, but we've seen it firsthand in the finals. Injuries play a huge factor in the finals. So if you can
Indiana
just get
team
there,
push that fucking super team to 7.
It's not just that super team, G, but whatever. Like San Antonio is going to be a problem. Denver's going to be a problem. OKC is going to be a problem. I think all 3 of those teams are going to be better than
Lou, to your point, it's like everybody thought that was going to be a 4 or 5 game series.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that, like, and weirder things happen.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I do think they can contend for a championship. Is it the route that I would like for them to go? I don't care anymore. This team will never rebuild. So if you're giving me a 2-year peak or 3-year peak with Giannis, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like they will never. We're seeing it every day play out with how little they want to play Khalil because they refuse to lose games. They absolutely hate it. So they just take the swing. Just take the fucking.
My position on that is, and David, it's if they can get him now with only 2 picks and all these young guys, I like that. If they have to send the young guys and 4 picks, I hate it because then at that point you have no means to make this team better. And that's 100%. Kind of my thing. I think Giannis can come in here, and I think they're not as good as Detroit, but I have negative respect for the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson. So I kind of like look at that team as
scared of Detroit, man.
I'm like, but Detroit has a lot of talent, and Detroit's really good, and Detroit's making moves, and Detroit's not done yet. But like, I look at the Knicks, and I was like, like this Heat team will have a bad offense. It will have its problems. Like Giannis is not going to come here and fix everything. Like they'll be really good on defense, but their offense is going to have like real struggles. And if they only trade the 2 picks that they have available, now you unlock more picks next year and every subsequent year that you can get better, that you can maybe package with a Bobby Portis and a Fontecchio to get you to a real salary figure and trade them and then get some
or maybe help. A Wiggins at that point in juncture.
Or maybe a Wiggins, who I think is good and helpful. But I guess that's kind of my point where they're in a weird spot where Lou's right. They don't rebuild. They don't rebuild the way we want them to. And this might be their best chance. And again, you have a chance to get a 3-time MVP, a 2-time MVP, and Defensive Player of the Year. You know, I have some injury concerns with Giannis too.
That's what I was going to bring up. Like, what's the risk in trading for Giannis? He's 31, already dealing with some calf injuries. Obviously, his play, relies on his athleticism. He's not much of like a perimeter shooter or anything like that. Could it be a case where it's almost like what the Heat traded for Shaq, where he had 2 pretty solid years, and after that, it was pretty downhill from there. So, yeah, that's my concern.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Kay, but at least for me, like I definitely think he has 2 to 3 years left at an elite top 10 level. Obviously barring injury, like it's the biggest concern, but like a guy who gets to the free throw line that much, it's like, it's like that's a skill you can fall back on. We saw Jimmy do it. We can see Giannis do it. Like Jimmy was 34 getting to the line 8 times a game, so it didn't really matter. And that's just that's kind of the juncture. Like 2-3 years, that's all the Heat think of is today and tomorrow.
And that's how it rolls.
And I do have one question, G. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
David, what do you think? Like if we get Giannis, where do you think we stack up?
I mean, I still think Detroit is probably the cream of the crop of the East, and I think that Boston is kind of a machine right now. And I mean, we don't know.
After trading Anthony Simons.
Well, I don't think Anthony Simons was ever going to be on that team. I mean, their number one priority was getting on the second apron, quite honestly. And I think
I'm not for this season, like obviously future season, I understand, but
but I mean, he's kind of redundant with a lot of what they want to do. Like, I mean, I'd rather have House and take more of those shots, anyways. But I think that it really just like I think the package will be a lot. I think it'll be expansive. It's at the deadline. I think the roster will be probably gutted, and then you got to integrate everyone. And I think that the continuity from Detroit and even New York and I think Cleveland will still. It depends. They have things to fix as well.
That's gonna be an interesting mix too.
I think
I was going to mention that. But up until the regular season, they'll be good.
Yeah. So I think per
usual.
With what the package will look like, I still think, of course, Giannis gives you a puncher's chance in any series. Just that's what he is. But I don't see many other paths forward for this team. I agree with y'all that they're not going to hit the reset button. So you might as well take the swing. Now they've resisted taking the swing, or they haven't been able to beat out other teams for the swing in the past. So I think this is where you put all the chips on the table, and you're going to have to just live with not having that equity.
So are you, if you were in the Heat shoes, or not if you were in the Heat shoes, but would you throw in everybody? I'm talking Pella, Ware.
No, I'm building around Ware. That's just me. I'm building around Ware, so it's like
take him out. Take him out.
This guy.
I respect him.
I wouldn't trade him. I don't know, man. I'm not really a big fan of these trades anymore. Just quite honestly, like I think at the deadline in particular, like if it's in the offseason, I think we could have a better understanding like assets and we can actually integrate. I don't think Giannis is a guy you can plug and play. And I think Giannis and Bam is actually kind of nasty, like actually really nasty offensively. And I think you have to have the handler to make that work. And Davion is good at, getting 2 feet in the paint by himself, but I don't think he can make all those pieces work together. And I think Norman is also deficient as a playmaker. I think, and G talked about it. He's like, the defense is going to be fired, but the offense is going to have those, in a lot of ways, those same issues. So, yeah.
I also wonder if they're going to keep what they're running now, which I actually think Giannis would be really successful in that. I just think it would hurt Bam even more. And I think he's kind of found his footing right now. So kind of really interesting to see how that goes. Our show's not over. We're still going to get to D-Wad, and we do want to reminisce about the 2006 team, but David, not a Heat fan. I don't think that meant anything to David the way it meant. I'm a grown man crying in my living room, and for David, seeing fat ass Antoine Walker may not mean anything. So we're gonna let David. We're gonna let David go home. David, I really appreciate you making the time for us, talking trades, talking Heat Hawks. Can you let people know where they can find your great work and to be on the lookout, on what to be on the lookout for with you?
Of course, man. Appreciate y'all for the invite. I was just at halftime, like, why is it taking so long? And then
nostalgia, baby.
I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Yeah, y'all love doing that. But now, man, D-Lee for 3 all platforms. I'm on Substack, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, man. And I'm talking basketball, I'm talking Hawks, I'm talking NBA, I'm talking draft. Especially as the draft season heats up, that's where my biggest passion is right now. Oh, I have a website too, thefifthfactor.io.
There you go.
Nice.
My draft analytics website. Updates coming soon. More stats, more players, more features. But yeah, man. Appreciate y'all again.
I appreciate you so much.
You're hoping for Peterson?
No, I'm a Boozer guy. But I mean, Peterson, I don't have no problem with Peterson, but I think I would take Boozer regardless. It doesn't matter who's on the roster.
Fair enough.
Insight you can only get here. David, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and happy February. Hope it's warm wherever you are, or hope it's warming. Certainly cold here. We have things to get to, including prize picks and our favorite segment. Do you work on that shot?
What kind of shot is that?
No. Oh my goodness, Valentine!
No.
Whoa.
Have you ever shot that shot?
Looking for Steph. Now Draymond's got it.
What did he do that for?
Draymond.
Do you work on that shot?
Yes! Oh!
When?
It's Cody Martin. You gotta hit it. Oh!
Step back, one-legged.
To Bargnani. What is he doing?
What kind of shot is that?
Whoops. Nobody heard
Feels
that.
like Miami.
Nobody heard that. Do you work on that shot? Brought to you by Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks. Pick, play, predict. You gotta love Prize Picks. You gotta love everything. Promo code HEATBEAT and get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. What are you waiting for? The big game's coming up this Sunday. What big game? You know the one. You know the one. Big game. The big game. Heat Hawks today. Big game. Mini series against the Bulls. Big game. Lots to get
Puppy
to.
Bowl.
Liverpool. Manchester City.
He can only be talking about 2
game.
o'clock. The Wizards.
Yeah, it's definitely the Puppy Bowl.
The
Team
Puppy-
Rough all day.
The Puppy Bowl. Big day. Big game. But shout out to Prize Picks who make this happen. Guys, if you want to support the show, this is one way you do it. By using promo code HEATBEAT and getting $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That's actually the best way you can support the show, is by doing that. Very gracious to Prize Picks for doing this partnership with us, especially before all the sports festivities happening in February, including the big game. So download Prize Picks today and use code HEATBEAT to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HEATBEAT to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay, we have a few. Oh, also want to give a shout out to Zach Martin's drum. Said couldn't catch live. Team is void of shooting. FML. Shout out to Zach Martin's drum. And the super chat. We love you and appreciate you. So we have a few. Do you work on that shots today? A few D-Watts. So we have a beautiful air ball. That was gorgeous. I wish David would have stayed for that one. We have some Fontecchio over here. Fontecchio's gonna put that guy up. Fontecchio does work on that shot, though. That's the thing with Simeone. He does work on that. Believe we have a cast shot over here. Another three. A lot of these are threes. A lot of these are bad airball threes. I love it when a three gets airball and then goes out of bounds. That's always funny.
Let's just say voice of Tony Fiorentino.
What?
Yeah, if you go back one clip.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know Tony was on.
Oh yeah, you were, because you're in Orlando. So you did you not watch the home broadcast?
No.
You watched the road broadcast? Oh, you missed it. We have one more tonight. Look at that. Hawkes is gonna little jab step.
He works on that.
Hell no.
On the jab step? There's no way he's working on the jab step.
He's working on that.
No, that's like
he don't do it
Carmelo
every day.
Anthony.
That guy's been working on a 3-pointer since his freshman year at UCLA, which was 8 years ago.
That doesn't mean he's gonna make it, but he's worked on it.
Yeah.
You're right. He probably
Once
does.
a week or so.
God.
Like,
Yeah. What's a
Once a week.
It's like me when I say I eat healthy. Just once a week.
That's once a week. Brian, yeah, you missed it. As somebody who was
What
not watching.
did they tell him? What was he saying?
Tony sat in the broadcast with Eric and Crotty and absolutely fucking mogged Crotty. He mogged
Of course
Crotty.
he did.
He was just so much better. I was smiling the whole time. And
How's he
by the
looking?
way, Fiorentino's looking great. Fiorentino is sharp. Fiorentino still. I'm sad we didn't get a launching pad today because nobody did anything exciting. Guys, Coach Tony was fucking sharp today.
Is he still looking at them stats?
He was locked into the game.
He was still confusing players.
I know, but that's why he was.
Wait, what happened? Who did you
it's a rare
confuse?
form.
My goat.
Wait, who?
I don't remember exactly, but I'm if we're taking a more or less, it happened more.
Like a player from the 2006 team or like a current modern player?
I think he called Myron Gardner Fontecchio.
I think you might have called him Makara White.
Sounds about white.
No,
Brian did watch the stream. He's lying, guys.
Oh my god. I was so fucking locked into nostalgia today. The Pat Aganda got me. Were you guys feeling it like I was? No? You guys have no energy. What the fuck's wrong with you guys? I'm bringing Omar.
It was hard to. It was hard to.
I'm bringing Omar. I'm bringing Omar.
Not
Absolutely not.
You're
The
a fucking
Pataganda.
dickhead.
I mean, if they won, maybe.
The things I was ready to do to Jason Capono when I saw that chiseled face, dude, I was fucking let's win some 3-point contests.
I was
dude.
so fucking happy. I was tearing. My
Probably
girlfriend's like,
would
"Are you
win today."
crying?" Lou, what the fuck? Why? How are you like this? I watched that and I was like, this is fucking heritage.
You didn't love Cowboy Doliak?
There's like 28 teams in the league that would fucking kill for the history and the heritage that this franchise has. They're sitting there in a semicircle in fucking my veins, bro.
Oh, you're talking my shit,
fucking
dude.
Strong. How do you not move by that? The cards, the story with the fucking one suit, Dwayne Wade, Udonis,
Keep going, dude.
Michael
Keep going.
Biamonte.
Stories for 20 years.
Yeah, but it was a celebration. They're all there. Antoine Walker's not even fatter.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
that
And
was-
also seeing
He's
Riley
on the other
shimmying
side.
yesterday, that was actually pretty
Somebody
funny.
get him in contact. with Charles
Some of the
Barkley.
videos of Riley from last night were pretty funny.
The chat says all it takes is a semicircle.
I'm smoking on that 06 pack.
I'm telling you, dude, be careful. Last time you went to the hospital, be careful.
Yeah,
I can't believe you
Put
guys
that
weren't.
down, Omar.
I was so fucking, dude. I had chills the entire time.
And just like
Literal
seeing
fucking
Zoe
chills.
still get the love that he gets. A lot of people, like, I feel like as time goes on, we don't like remember Zoe growing up, and he was like he was my favorite player growing up, and like it's just so like good to like remind like what good role players do in like championship moments and like what Zoe meant to the franchise. And I was fucking ready to go. I wanted to give him a kidney. I know he's got a good one now. I'd still give it to him.
I'd still give it to him.
Yeah, right now.
I was
Take
used
it.
to it, right?
Take
Yeah.
my organs, Zoe.
I don't think he needs
Guys.
it, but that's such a sentiment.
I appreciate
We'll
the
give it to him
sentiment.
as treaty.
It was
Wade
20
could have my
years
meniscus
ago.
if he still needs it.
It was 20 years ago Stop putting these damn ceremony games. We're 0-75 in them. Like, we
Blasphemy.
did not win them.
That's the
Heresy.
team's problem.
Heresy.
That's them embarrassing the fucking legends
My
that stood
goodness.
before them.
I-
The
like-
heritage, the culture. That's Heat culture. That fucking
That
banner
was
culture
Heat culture.
is
No longer.
That flows through all of our fucking veins.
Yeah, didn't we
bro.
lose to Atlanta last year with another ceremony? That was
Bro,
like the one
we
where the
lose
John
every
Tari made
year.
that game-winning
The
shot
spot,
from like half
the-
court.
Lose
Dwayne-
every
Shut
year.
your mouth when you talk to us about that fucking shot that he hit at the end from half court. It
Look,
was,
G, the nostalgia is great, right? It was 20 years ago. Have you seen how much everybody has changed? You know
have you
what
seen how
hasn't
much this
changed?
roster
Pat
is
Riley's
not as
fucking
much
way of
until
building a
that?
team, and that's a fucking problem. And that's why I cannot get behind him anymore. 20 years
why
ago,
can't you find joy in what was
because
the
you're
celebration?
okay, am I
You're not
wrong
watching
for
those
this?
movies?
Am I
Yes.
wrong for this?
Yes.
You're not, but see, it's a lot going on. It's like the game itself, we're a little bit spoiled.
This
We're
would have been
on
cooler
edge
how they
because of
made a
this
trade for
Giannis thing.
Giannis.
It's exactly. It's so much going on right now that
Like
it's
they
hard
should
to
have planned
wrap
this after the deadline.
when it was wonderful. Like you're asking us to relive the title when it's like, people are trying to get over what was the last era and wondering if we're going to beat Minnesota or Chicago for the crying out fucking loud for the
15
services of Giannis.
strong.
Like,
G,
15.
that's
baby.
straight propaganda, and you're falling
Yes.
for it.
And guess
They're
what?
17 now.
Sometimes
Wait, so-
propaganda works,
20
bro.
years ago, you must believe in your
suit,
leader.
One tie,
God.
one jacket.
Sometimes that shit works, bro.
Those
I'm
teams
gonna
don't
go
even
buy
carry
a jacket
15 players
tomorrow.
anymore.
Don't do that. Save your fucking money, please.
Luxury
hey,
tax.
man,
for
that
Heat
jacket's
versus
$550.
When
I
Pat
looked it up.
started saying that he still kept that suitcase and it's like full of sweat and it's still got the same
I want
outfit,
it.
I was like,
If
are
the
you
Heat trade for Giannis,
talking
they're
to us
pretty
right
much
now?
not going to have 15 players on the roster.
I want that. I want that suit. Heat versus haters tweeted out, "We're celebrating Dwayne Wade's championship and Finals MVP tonight, while ringless James Harden is sent to Cleveland. I love my shooting guard."
Let's go.
Fully encapsulates the whole thing. I cannot believe that you can sit here and watch that celebration. Bro, I'm gonna when Michael
Did not
Piamonte
feel anything.
introduced Dwayne Wade, you didn't feel anything?
2006 NBA Finals MVP, number 3, Dwayne Wade.
I'm not going out like this.
Do you feel fucking nothing?
No, I know that. I will always feel something for Dwayne Wade.
Michael Piamonte, that's the last. Michael Piamonte is retiring. That's the last time he'll ever do that in that building.
G, and then as soon as they sat there and started praising Pat Riley for shit he did 20 years ago, I was
Yes,
over it.
bro, because that shit matters 20 years ago. That shit's forever.
History
Forever.
matters.
You will be forgotten. You and I will be fucking dust in this earth. And
Whoa.
that banner will be remembered. Your grandkids'
G,
will
once-
know what Dwayne Wade
once
did
you
in
pass,
Game 3.
that banner won't be remembered because that banner was 20 damn years ago.
No, you're
We need to
fucking
stop.
wrong, dude. You're wrong. That
You don't
matters.
celebrate your wedding
That's the
anniversary
whole
or something,
reason-
You got to.
That's the whole reason we do
True,
this
true.
exercise. For that moment, so that we 20 years later can say, I watched that shit. I felt that shit. I fucking jumped up on my couch in middle school and was
Oh, let's
cheering when
go.
Alonzo Mourning convulsed on the
Let's
floor.
go.
When Antoine Walker did the shimmy on the floor. When Dwayne Wade looked at the trophy and says, you belong to me.
Let's fucking go, G.
Come
Let's
on.
fucking go.
I hate you. You have no joy. You
I have-
will get more excited at a fucking draft board than
I've
watching.
lost my joy.
Nerd.
You Moose and Frankie, you don't watch a fucking draft board and masturbate to it and not care about this.
You know what real men masturbate to? Game 3.
This.
06.
NBA Finals MVP, number 3, Dwayne Wade.
That happened to our team. We had that guy on our team.
And you know what, Lou? You know what, Lou? Is when Adam Silver comes out with the third pick, and he's like, "Ah, yes, ah."
More game.
You fucking sicko.
This is X-rated.
You
man.
and Moose. This is for Moose too. Moose, this is for you. I'm
20 years
sweaty.
ago, guys. Get a
I
grip.
got one more in me.
Yeah, brother, that's what sports are about. It's about talking shit about the Celtics. Talk about shit that happened in black and white and segregation.
And we hate them for that.
No,
And we're
but
trying to get to
they
them.
can do it. They can do it. They can do it. Because once you win, it's forever.
Look at what they almost made me do just now on my desk and everywhere. Look at what Pat
you guys
almost
are
made me do.
joyless, bro. You guys are joyless.
So much joy.
There's
So
no
much
joy.
joy.
As Brian, did he feel the joy?
Brian didn't watch the game.
I didn't.
Brian,
I
I'm
had to
sorry.
watch NBA TV highlights.